a possibility, this ruling overturning affirmative action by the Supreme Court today, what has gone through your mind in terms of how you believe this will affect specifically the African-American community?
Well, I think that this is tantamount to sticking a dagger in our back, because what they have said now is that it is unconstitutional to even consider race. And given the racial history of the country, let's not act like blacks are behind because there's something in our genes that made us behind. It was against the law for us to even read and write until 160 years ago. We were enslaved 246 years. So it is to completely throw to the wind the history of why we needed affirmative action in the first place. Secondly, let's remember that affirmative action was a conservative remedy that came out of the Nixon administration, written by Art Fletcher. So now you have a right-wing Trump court, because let's not forget Trump nominated a third of the sitting court, 9 members, 3 of which Trump put on there, that is saying, well, we'll protect your voting rights on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and then we're going to pull the rug from under you in terms of you being able to have an even consideration. We're not even talking about a mandatory, a consideration of race to higher education. My last point that really is frightening to me is now in the private sector, corporations, many of whom made pledges around the George Floyd movement that didn't live up to them, can now say, well, we can't consider race in terms of contracts and employment and board members and what we do in the community, because the court now is saying it's unconstitutional. This is a tremendous setback that must be resisted by every corner, including the Department of Justice and including states, because what they have said is that it is unconstitutional to even consider race. And I think it is unimaginable not to consider race, given the history of this country and given the data that we still see in this country. Blacks are still 10% less in terms of family wealth than whites. We are still less in education. So either you're saying we're genetically inferior, or that there's something that is unequal in society, and is unequal because of law. It was against the law for us to be able to go to certain schools. It was against the law. That's why Rosa Parks was arrested. She was not given therapy. She was arrested. The laws were against us, and now the law has turned on us.
And Rev, let me ask another area of concern.